Hello, I'm Brett Brown, the creator of the 7-syllable reading and spelling program. I've designed this program with one goal in mind: to simplify the spelling of English. It does this by identifying 7 syllables and 7 rules. And once you learn the 7 syllables and 7 rules, you can understand the spelling of every single word in English. Now, I've also designed this program with the older student in mind. And in working with the older student, I found a real need for multimodality. What that means is the need to see, touch, and hear, because students learn in a variety of different ways. I've also found a real need for repetition, because often you need to go over and over the 7 syllables, 7 rules, to really master them. That's why you'll see these concepts presented first in a cartoon, then in a workbook with an instructor's manual, which you can review in a CD, and finally posters that summarize them all. The 7-syllable reading and spelling program comes in a variety of formats to help you learn the 7 syllables and 7 rules. The DVD, The History of English According to Bob, is a 1-hour cartoon that explains the spelling of every word in English. It shows how Bob the Monk, Fat Rat, Sister Anne, and other characters invented the 7 syllables and the 7 rules. For those of you who want to study the syllables and rules more in depth, there's a student workbook. It comes with an instructor's manual. Anyone who can read English could learn to teach a lesson from this instructor's manual in about 10 minutes. A lesson takes about a half hour, and there's a total of 30 lessons. The 7-syllable CD is a digital version of the workbook. A student can review this on their own, or could even teach themselves the entire program just using this CD. The basic CD is for those students who still need to establish a foundation in the basics of phonics. On the ABC face, they can see the mouth movements behind each of the letter sounds. In the Fat Rat Rap game, they learn to sequence the letters, the foundation to phonics. There are 15 color posters to summarize the concepts as you learn them. There's 7 syllables, 7 rules, and all the vowels in their animated form. As your students advance in their reading skills, you can use the comprehension cards. These are designed to help you guide readers to see clear images of what they're reading. When they have difficulty explaining stories, you can use the questions on the back to help you show your students how to make clear, detailed images of what they're reading. In the cartoon, The History of English According to Bob, you'll learn how the 7 syllables and 7 rules were invented by Brother Bob, Sister Anne, Fat Rat, and the other characters. Now, the first 20 minutes introduces the story, the English alphabet, and the Fat Rat Rap, which is the foundation to phonics, sequencing letters. In the next 20 minutes, you'll learn the 7 syllables. This explains one of the most difficult things about English, that 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, and U, make 18 different sounds. The 7 syllables explain how these variations occur. In the last 20 minutes, you'll learn the 7 rules. Now, this is a lot of information. Don't expect to get it all in one sitting. This is why the DVD menu is divided into chapters. The real key to learning the 7 rules is to understand that every word is written the way it used to be pronounced. The rules just tell us about the variations that we've made in our pronunciation, as opposed to the old spellings. After seeing the cartoon, either in its entirety or scene by scene, you can then use the student workbook and the instructor's manual. Begin with the first syllable, closed, on page 2. The concept is presented for you to review with the student. Below that is a picture to further explain the idea. Then, there's a list of 10 words that the student must read from her workbook. You can follow along in your instructor's manual if you like. Next to the reading list is a space for the student to spell 10 words. Dictate those 10 words from the instructor's manual.
I thought in phonetic alphabet each letter only had one sound.
Well, most of the time that's true.
Like in Spanish you have 5 vowels. A, E, I, O, and U. And they have 5 sounds. A, E, O, U.
It would be great if it were that way in English. But because of the way our history went, we also have 5 vowels. But they make 18 different sounds.
Now how are we supposed to know what sound the letter's making?
Well, that's where the 7 syllables will come in.
Each syllable type has a list of sight words. These are words that are used so often that everyone needs to know them on sight. Your student needs to be able to read and spell them instantly, so examine them with your students. On the next page, There are several practice sentences listed. These sentences are made up of the sight words that are being studied. If you need more practice with a concept, you can do the rhyming pages. Here you'll find common endings of the syllable type. Beneath each of these endings are all the letters that can be added to them to make real words that rhyme. And that's it. Each syllable type has 10 words to read, 10 words to spell, sight words to study, and sentences you can practice reading. If you want more, you can do the rhyming pages. Each syllable type makes up one lesson and takes about a half an hour. After you finish each lesson, there's a poster to summarize the concept. These should be put up where a student can see them easily to help review the concepts daily. The 7-syllable CD is a digital version of the workbook, which students can use to practice on their own. Click on the syllable button. Click on Fat Rat to hear about the syllables. Then, click on the syllable square to learn about that syllable. Here, you can click on Fat Rat to hear more about that syllable. There's a Read button. Click on it, and you'll see the 10 words to practice reading. You can click on each word to hear it said out loud. Return to the previous screen and click on the Spell button. Here, you can click on the Say button to hear a word dictated and used in a sentence. Students can then tell you how the word is spelled, or they can write it on a separate sheet of paper. Then, click on the Show button and see if their spelling matched. Return to the previous screen and click on the Sight Word button. Click on a list number to see that list. If you select the Drill button, you'll see the words presented like flashcards. Best. Big. If you select the Read button, you will see each word in a form you can study. Click on the cartoon letters to hear their sounds. D, I, D. Then click on the speaker to hear the word out loud. Did. If you go back and select the Rules button, you will see the 7 rules. Click on Fat Rat to hear about the rules, and click on the square to learn more about that particular rule. If there are subsets to the rules, you can click on their buttons to see those lessons. The rules work the same way. Click on the Read button to see the 10 practice reading words, and then click on the Spell button to practice spelling 10 practice words. And then click on the Sight Word button so you can study the sight words. There's also a Vowel button. When you click on it, you'll see a page of all the vowels in their animated form. Click on the yellow sleeping vowels to hear the short vowel sounds. These are the most common vowel sounds. They're made when you have a closed syllable. The red vowels are awake for when the vowels make their long sound or say their names. You can also see the vowel pals with the vowels saying their names, along with their silent blue pals. The orange vowels are for all of the dip combinations. The green vowels are with the pirate R. Click on them to hear the sound they make when they're controlled by the pirate R. There's also a sight word button on the introduction page. Here you can study the 500 most commonly used words in English. Click on the 500 word button, where you'll see each of the words displayed with several options to help you study it. You can click on the animated letters to hear their sounds. You can click on the Say button to hear the word said. Each word is split into syllables, with the vowels colored according to their syllable type. Sometimes there are button tags underneath the word to help explain one of the 7 rules being used. There's also a schwa bird on any letter that's being schwad. You know, the 7-syllable program was designed to simplify the spelling of English. But it looks like we've created a lot of things here. So let's get back to the basics. There are just 7 syllables and 7 rules that you need to learn to master the spelling of English. That part is simple. What can look complicated is the fact that people learn in different ways. That's why this program teaches you the 7 syllables and rules in a cartoon. Then, it teaches them in a book. They're presented again in a CD. Finally, they're summarized in posters. By going over the 7 syllables and rules in so many different ways, your brain will eventually master them. And, as Fat Rat says,
you can learn the rules to understand why English is spelled so weird, but the less you think about it, the better. Just practice reading, and pretty soon, you won't be thinking about the rules at all. You'll just know most of the words, somehow. I don't know, don't ask me why, but it works. Just practice.
Always keep in mind that the ultimate goal in learning to read is to read for enjoyment. The 7-syllable program simplifies the path to that enjoyment with 7 syllables and 7 rules. And once you learn the 7 syllables and 7 rules, you can break the code to reading and writing English. And once you break that code, the whole world opens up to you.